see what happens with that. But let's talk about the fact that Jay-Z is now officially under investigation. On top of that, Dame Dash is breaking his silence on what Jay-Z saw, Jay-Z and Diddy's disturbing behavior, and the whole Civic Association of Hell's Kitchen. The president is coming in on Jay-Z, saying that Jay-Z tried to bribe them with millions of dollars. And a lot of people said this is another play, just like he did with Barkley. Go in there, try to gain the community's trust, try to throw them a few dollars, sell them out, and leave things worse than they found it. Listen.
Jay-Z's name is now tangled in the disaster surrounding Diddy, and people are saying this may be the moment everything shifts. The man who once moved through the entertainment world like nothing could ever touch him is now caught inside a legal storm that has been building for months. And with new court documents pointing to connections stretching back over 20 years, this is not simple gossip. This could reshape careers, relationships, and the entire image of two men who once stood at the top of the culture. For years, Jay-Z and Diddy walked through the industry like royalty. Their bond was built on wealth, influence, and brand power. They were the faces of hip-hop becoming a global business machine. From the late 1990s into the early 2000s, they looked unstoppable. They wore tailored suits, arrived with entourages, and always had cameras pointed at them.
Put your Rockefeller show. Put your Rockefeller.
Every event seemed to feature both of them standing shoulder to shoulder, giving the world the look of two men who understood empire building better than anyone else in music. Fans saw their partnership play out on red carpets, magazine spreads, and award shows. At the VMAs, the BET Awards, private galas, and the famous Rock Nation brunch, they were always seen close together, sharing laughs and showing off those confident smiles people came to expect from hip-hop's biggest names. There was even an old moment people still talk about. Diddy once said in an interview, "Only Jay can call me Sean." It sounded simple, but to many, it was a public declaration that they were more than colleagues. They were family, at least on the surface. Behind that public image, both men were building huge business empires. Jay had Rock Nation, Ace of Spades, and later Rock Nation Sports.
We are learning that Jay-Z is accused of a 13-year-old girl. That is new in the Diddy lawsuit, and the new allegations are just coming out this evening. Jay-Z is being accused of a minor along with Diddy at a MTV VMAs after party back in 2000, according to documents obtained by Fox News Digital tonight. The lawsuit, which was initially filed back in October, was refiled tonight in New York by an anonymous accuser claiming Jay-Z, whose full name is Sean Carter, while Combs and Celebrity B.
Diddy was running Bad Boy, Sean John, Ciroc Partnerships, and Revolt TV. These weren't just two separate paths. They were often connected, sometimes quietly. Diddy hosted events and Jay showed up. Jay released music and Diddy boosted it. There was a rhythm to their business friendship, and it looked intentional. But now, that loyalty is under pressure. And pressure has a strange way of showing people's real character. As the legal battles around Diddy grow heavier, rumors are spreading that he won't face this storm alone. With the possibility of major charges and long-term consequences, people in legal circles are whispering that Diddy may be preparing to talk, and not just talk, but reveal names, connections, and moments from the past that nobody expected to resurface. And Jay's name is already circulating. The latest civil lawsuit to hit the courts contains some of the most serious claims ever attached to these two powerful music figures.
I don't even think Jay was in the country, because I remember calling Jay and telling him, like, yo, what the f is going on? But like I said, it's in the music, man. Can't go on this way. If you put puppies in the oven, do they make them biscuits? For hungry dogs in the kitchen, will they eat the kids? It is all in the music, but yeah, that was a shock to me.
The documents describe events going back to the early 2000s, including a claim from a woman who says she was only 13 years old at the time. She names both men and gives specific details that investigators could trace, including the fact that Jay-Z reportedly attended the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards with Beyoncé. That kind of detail makes it harder for lawyers to avoid questions. Jay's team reacted quickly. They released a strong statement denying everything and insisting he had no part in any wrongdoing. But while the statement was loud, Jay himself went silent. And silence can sometimes speak louder than a press release. For someone who usually controls every part of his public image, the quiet has not gone unnoticed. People are asking, if he had nothing to do with any of this, why does he seem to be stepping back from the spotlight at the exact moment his name appears in court documents? Jay has built a brand around loyalty, strength, and staying solid through tough times. But the unity that once looked unbreakable between him and Diddy is missing now. The public brotherhood has faded into cold distance. Then came a moment that made people pay even closer attention. In a recent interview, Beanie Siegel, someone who was once extremely close to Jay, delivered a message that felt more like a warning: get out now. That statement didn't come from an outsider guessing from afar. It came from a man who lived beside Jay during the rise of Rockefeller Records, during the fame, the success, and the tension that eventually tore the label apart. Beanie wasn't just an artist, he was considered family. He protected the brand, supported the movement, and stood by Jay when the label was growing into a powerhouse. When someone like Beanie speaks, people listen. His words carry history, experience, and knowledge of what happened in places the public never saw. So when he warns Jay to get out, people wonder what he knows, what he saw, and what he believes is coming next. Beanie didn't mention names, but his tone suggested something serious, something tied to the past, something powerful enough to threaten reputations even decades later. And considering how long Jay and Diddy have known each other, this warning feels personal. Their connection goes back to nights in clubs, exclusive gatherings, private deals, and moments the public never knew about. If Diddy has information, and Beanie's tone suggests he might, the timeline could reach all the way back to the 1990s, when both men were still building their foundations. That's a long history filled with secrets, alliances, and choices that may look different when viewed under the spotlight of a federal investigation. To understand the cracks forming now, you have to look back to 2004, when Rockefeller Records began falling apart. A label that once represented unity, strength, and unstoppable talent suddenly collapsed under egos, business deals, and decisions that blindsided nearly everyone. The turning point came when Jay accepted the presidency of Def Jam without telling Dame Dash. That decision created a divide that many still talk about today. Beanie was caught in the middle during that time. He was one of the label's biggest stars, yet when the split happened, he didn't know where he stood. Soon after, he ended up in legal trouble. Jay didn't speak up, didn't defend him, and didn't support him in a way many expected. That moment stayed with Beanie, and years later, he openly questioned Jay's loyalty. People now see a pattern forming. When situations get messy, Jay steps back. When the fire starts, he disappears. He moves carefully and avoids anything that could damage his image. It's a strategy that has kept his brand clean for years, but it may not work in a situation like this, especially if someone else is ready to talk. Back in 2009, Beanie released a diss track aimed at Jay. It was raw, emotional, and filled with frustration. He accused Jay of holding him back, blocking opportunities, and using power to control artists instead of helping them. To Beanie, that wasn't leadership. It was manipulation. Around the same time, Dame Dash stepped in to publicly support Beanie, which only added more weight to the belief that Jay had a habit of cutting ties when things got tough. Beanie later said he realized Jay didn't pull away because of business disagreements. He pulled away because protecting his own image mattered more than protecting his people. And now, with Diddy under pressure, that old pattern is repeating. Jay is distancing himself again. But this time, silence might not protect him. Sources say Diddy is under such intense legal pressure that he may be preparing to reveal names. Many believe he could expose powerful figures connected to old events, including secret gatherings and private parties from the 90s and early 2000s. People online claim those gatherings were tightly controlled, no phones, strict privacy, NDAs, and high-profile guests who understood the rules. Rumors say Jay was present at some of these events. Some even say he helped protect the system by staying silent and keeping his distance when needed. Whether these claims are true or not, one thing is clear. Diddy's legal fight is bigger than anyone expected, and if he chooses to reveal everything he knows, the fallout could reach far beyond his own circle. Fans are already talking about it. One person wrote, "If Diddy goes down, he's taking everyone with him." Another commented, "Jay better get the best lawyers. Secrets from the 90s don't stay hidden forever." And honestly, it makes sense. Diddy doesn't seem like the type of man who would accept being the only one blamed if he believes others were involved in past situations. If he has evidence, if he has documents, if he has anything that could lighten his sentence, he may have no problem naming names, especially the biggest one he once called a brother. That puts Jay in a dangerous place. His billion-dollar empire, from business deals to brand partnerships, could be shaken if old stories, old alliances, and old connections are suddenly pulled into the present. Right now, the question is not if something comes out, it's when and how loud the impact will be. Because when a courtroom becomes a place of survival, loyalty becomes optional. Reputation becomes fragile, and nobody, not even Jay-Z, is completely untouchable. So now the world is watching, the industry is listening, and even Jay's silence is starting to sound like a statement. Hit that like button, subscribe, and tell me